beautiful people, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jennifer Diamond, and I live a whole food, plant-exclusive, SOS-free, gluten-free lifestyle for health and well-being, which gave me my life back. I have reversed chronic disease, lowered inflammation, and got off nearly all my medications, lost close to 40 pounds and kept it off, and more. That is why I became a certified plant-based nutrition coach, and why I've dedicated this channel to sharing how I improved, mastered, and continue to heal so that you can do it too. Today, I thought I'd bring you along while I make flatbread Italiano using sourdough starter. Okay, so you may have seen my video where I talk about sourdough and making gluten-free sourdough bread. And so there's a lot of discard, which is the stuff that we don't use because you have to feed it. And so I'm new at this, and so I wanted to bring you along to see if we could make something out of what some people would literally discard. And so I have it here. It is cold. It was in the refrigerator. I would prefer it to be room temperature, but I wanted to just kind of take this out and mix it around a little bit. I think I'll just do it right like this. I want to mix it up a little bit and then measure the portion that we're going to use. Is that necessary to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll just mix it a little bit in here. Just because the stuff that's on the bottom has been here longer than the stuff that's on the top, right? And so I just kind of wanted to be able to mix it a little. Do you need to do that? I don't know. Probably not. But what I am going to do is I'm going to start by taking some of this discard, and I'm going to put this glass bowl here, and I am going to be measuring about, let's see. I want to see how much 150 grams, what that looks like. So this is a little bit more than that. So we're gonna go with 200 grams. And there we go. So you could double this if you want, but we're gonna go with 200 grams, and that's actually 201. So I can take out a little bit. Too much. Grams are very tiny, aren't they? Okay, so here we have 200 grams of our starter, and that's the only thing that's in here. Now, this is a gluten-free starter. This starter was made with water and brown rice flour only. So it's really a cool thing for me to experiment with you and see how this could actually be something yummy to eat that isn't going to harm. So anyhow, I wanted to go over some of the things that we have and that we're going to add in here. I have some, these are green olives, and these particular ones are filled with fresh garlic cloves. Now, typically olives are stored in a liquid, and usually it's some kind of combination of vinegar, and there's usually a salt. So if you're salt-free, then I would go ahead and do what I did and rinse these off the best that you can, or skip the olives. You don't have to do this. This is all just ideas. But I really liked it. And if you want to do calamari olives, those are the ones that are the darker, like more of a black color, or mix them, that would be good. And also you can limit the amount. So, this is 2. These are 2 large olives. You can chop them finer and do 1, or do 1 of each kind. So, it's up to you. But we're going to have that in there. And then we're going to have some spices. I have some fresh and I have some that are dry. And what I have is the savory spices, granulated onion. I have some oregano. We have rosemary, both dried and fresh. I've got some garlic granulades, which will give it a little bit more texture. And then I have some fresh thyme, which I think will be really fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove the fresh stuff for the moment. And I went ahead and put the rosemary in here and just gave it a little, the mortar and pestle, gave it a little grind, because I love the flavor of rosemary, but I don't like when it's like those sticks in it, you know? And so when it's dried, I like to really kind of grind it up so that it's just more flavor than anything else. And so I'm gonna go ahead and put that in here. And what I'm using is some really simple measurements. And you can change the measurements depending on the flavor. But it's basically everything that is dried is 1/4 teaspoon. Ta-da! Isn't that great? I love that. And you know, you can double it, or you can add half a teaspoon would be really good as well. In fact, I wonder if I should have done that, but I didn't. So, and now I'm gonna go ahead, oh, you know what I wanna do also? Add this. This is the fresh thyme. Now you could use thyme that's dry. In fact, I could put thyme that's dry in here. And let's say you don't have any of these. Well, just go ahead and do like an Italian herb that has everything mixed up in it. And this is just 2 small sprigs, and I'm literally going against the way that it grows, and it just comes right off the stick. Now, I could have left the stick, or I could add more because I have them right here. These I happen to get from a local store by us, which you can buy them, or if you're lucky, you could even grow them. Oh, I love fresh herbs. But so here's what it looks like. And what I might do is just take an additional sprig or 2 to put on right before we bake it. So let me do that, since I put some of it in there already. Okay, and so I have, if you're gonna use the fresh thyme, I would recommend chopping it up, unless you don't mind these kind of pieces in it. See what it looks like right there? Whoops, there we go. It kind of looks like a tree branch. And you could either chop it up and add it in, or we could lay it on top. And that's what I think I'm gonna do, a little of both. So just for a moment, let me just, you know, show you that there's no real right or wrong way. If I had a lot more, I would use my herb scissor, but I only have this little bit just to show you, because we're kind of experimenting. And then I would just put it right in there. There we go. And so now I'm just going to incorporate this into the dough. Oh, so pretty. And now this dough is a flatbread, so it's not like we want it to rise or, you know, do anything with. And oh, isn't that pretty? So yeah, so I might even double the amount of spices, just because it might just, you know, it just adds more flavor. Now I'm gonna go ahead and decide, do I leave the olives like this, or should we chop them up a little more? Well, I just got excited. I thought I was gonna leave it like this, but I think I'm gonna just chop them just a little bit more and do like a rough chop. And you can just decide in the moment what you wanna do. And like I said, you can leave them out, or you can just have a very minimal amount. And as far as the salt is concerned, when in doubt, rinse it out. Okay? And so you can certainly do that. Boy, this looks like a lot when they're chopped, so maybe I'll just put in half of what I originally thought. And so you know that there were original 2 in here. So you decide, are you an olive lover or not? Anyhow, and then just kind of mix it all in. And now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna cook it. So I'm gonna attempt to try it on this thing, but you could do it in a pan as long as it was non-stick. You could bake it in an oven, which is like my default to what I might do if this sticks or doesn't work somehow. But I have this on like a low setting. It's on 2. And then you can make any shape you want. You could do whatever you want, but I'm literally just gonna pour it on. And I could do it in one big glob. I could do it in tiny, smaller, individual sizes. So I think it really doesn't matter. It's just a matter of deciding what works for you. And so now what I'm gonna do is I am just going to kind of spread it out, not too thin, but you know, just, it's a flatbread, so you don't want it to be a thick flatbread, right? That would be kind of funny. So I'm just kind of play with it until I feel like I've got it the right thickness. And then I am going to place our fresh herbs right on top. And that is just mostly just to have it look super pretty. And I could take a few off like I did and sprinkle those around as well. And then I could do the same thing with the thyme, which we did, you know, put in there. But it kind of looks really pretty, isn't it? This is nice. And then literally, we're just gonna fry it for a few minutes on each side. And then we can top it with a few other things. We could top it with some of these. I might even, just for fun, put a couple pieces on here of the olive, just to make it more colorful. If you know me, you know I love color. And you could also even add some, sun-dried tomatoes, and I happen to have some. Gosh, that's a great idea. Should I grab some? I will. Hang on. I had these in the freezer, but they're so thin that they'll probably just need a minute or so to thaw. Look at that. Oh, this was a great idea. So you could use tomato powder as well, which I have. So you could use them both and just make it your own. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put in a couple of these right on top. Just some of these smaller ones. A smaller piece right over here. There we go, look at that, that looks fantastic. And so now we're just gonna let it sit. And while we're letting it sit, I just wanna talk to you about a few other things. So I have these sprouts. These, you can certainly top it with sprouts when it's all done of any sort. These sprouts were actually, I sprouted them and then I froze them because I didn't eat them fast enough and I was gonna be heading out of town. And now, so I am thawing them out. So I just wanna say that you can sprinkle these in. We could have mixed some in. Maybe I'll just put a little on top. They're a little mushy when they, you know, come out from being frozen, so the texture might be different. And if you don't care for that, then you can just use fresh ones, and then you can use this to either mix in or use it for something else, like a smoothie or whatnot. But I did want to point that out. And then the other thing that I'd like to top it with is some fresh avocado. And of course, if you don't like avocado, well, heck, don't use avocado. But if you do like it, I think it'll be a nice creamy texture to the bread when it's done. And I will slice it and put it on at the end. So now it's just a matter of waiting a few minutes until this looks like it's ready to be flipped over, and then crossing our fingers and hoping that it doesn't stick, because of course I don't use any oil, there's no butter, there's no yeast, there's no flour, there's nothing in this. It's just the brown rice, gluten-free, right, flour that we used as a discard to the sourdough. So if you haven't seen my video on sprouting or me and my avocado, I'll link those above and you can check those out if you're interested. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and flip this guy. Oh my goodness, look at that, look at that. Wow. Ah, looks good, smells great. And the browning is perfect, so I had it cooking on the low temperature. And so if you're gonna be doing this on the stovetop, just keep the flame very low and make sure that you're using a pan that is a non-stick stick pan. It will stick if you use it just straight on a regular pan. You could try a cast iron, you could try a green pan, or you could try any ceramic coated pan, and you know, see how that works. And if you don't have that kind of pan, you don't feel comfortable using that, then go ahead and line a cookie sheet with parchment paper and go ahead and cook it for about maybe 350 degrees until you see it start to get brown on top, which could take maybe about 15 minutes or so, and then go ahead and carefully flip it over and do the other side. Okay, everyone, let's take a peek here. And now I noticed that it's kind of got some indentations because it wasn't totally smooth. And so, you know, we could have put something of some type of weight if you wanted to press it down so that the brownness might become a little bit more even, but it doesn't have to be. Let's see. Whoa, we lost one tomato. Woo, look at that. I'm going to grab it though, and we're going to put it right there. And I'm going to go ahead and move this guy out of the way. Oh, yum. Smells so good. Okay, and so here we have it. Our flatbread. Look at that. And it's made with a discard sourdough. I can't even believe it. So I've got some extra pieces on the side here of that sun-dried or dehydrated tomato. And then I did slice up some avocado, which I can just, you know, you don't have to do this, but just to kind of place it on top might be fun and yummy. Another thing that might taste terrific, and it could be fine just how it is you can put a little bit of ground, you know, black peppercorns. You could also add these when you're mixing it up, and I didn't, but you could do either or. And then top it off with some premium classic California balsamic. This stuff is amazing. It's all SOS-free. They have a line that is SOS-free. I've got two flavors here that we could try. One is called Gilroy Garlic, and one is the premium classic balsamic. And so we're going to go ahead and try these. They like you to shake the bottles really well, and so you can turn it over and do this. Or whatever, but you just want to make sure to get all the goodness mixed in there, and oh, do I love these. So let me go ahead and give it a little drizzle. And the other thing is, maybe you don't want to drizzle it. What else could you do? You could just put some on a little bowl and dip it. This would be really great with a salad. Or soups to dip it in. It's just a really beautiful, beautiful piece right here. Oh man, this looks amazing. So let's go ahead and get into this. Now, I can cut it off of the plate, which I think I might do. Or maybe what I'll do is get a scissors and just cut it that way. So kitchen shears are always great. Oh man, this is yummy looking. All right, here we go. Wow, that's really nice. I had a big piece of avocado, so I want to try one more bite to really give a nice description of the flavors. Oh man, that's delicious. It's got a crunch, but yet chewy, moist. I do taste some sour, but not very much because this is a discard. I love the balance of the Italian flavors with the tomato, sun-dried tomato. Wow. And there's no real wheat or flour or anything in it. It's just the brown rice. So thank you so much, everyone. Don't forget to eat your greens and give plants a chance. We'll see you next time. Bye for now. I haven't had bread in so long. Does this even count as bread? Maybe this doesn't count as bread.